Hello everyone and welcome to the session. We're so excited to have you here. We've got a really great lineup and some great questions for you today. As you all know, it is on reports as you did request, but before we get into it, I want to show you a little bit more about our SmartReports competition. Some of you may have heard of it, but we've got a little video for you first. And the prize up for grabs is a 256 gig iPad, which I know some of you would find really useful in your schools. So why not have a look at the video and join in? So as you can see, we are super excited for this competition, and this session is also going to be helping you a bit with, I guess, your entries in general and how to create custom reports, and we'll be walking you through any questions you have in regards to that. Shortly we will be handing over to our team members Donald and Quentin, so we will be back with them in just a moment. So welcome Donald and Quentin, we're so excited to have you here today. Before we get into the questions, do you guys want to introduce yourself and a little bit about your roles at FSI?
You can go first, Donald. No, ladies first. Okay, I'll go first. As you know, my name's Donald. I'm actually the Customer Service Manager here at FSI. Things you might not know that we actually deal with is a lot of everything, really. As customer service, we try and pride ourselves on customer satisfaction, and that comes down from, trying to get back to everyone as soon as possible, as well as taking any issues or queries and helping the development team create a better product for you guys.
Excellent, and thank you very much, Sophie, for hosting another one of these events.
No worries.
My name is Quentin. I'm the General Manager at FSI, and my role is basically just to work with all the different departments here at FSI and bring ideas and concepts across to all the different departments. So one of the really key strategies that we started this probably about 2 years ago, and probably you'll see it a lot with Donald and the customer service team, believe it or not, is when there is issues, having the ability to identify those on a customer service level and working with those teams to have the different systems in place that we can then communicate that with the research and development team. We can then go and test things and bring things across to the TV for Education team as well. So a lot of those things are part of my role to just facilitate the communication and the spread of all those different functions between the different product lines, the different teams, to make sure that customer experience is really top-notch for all of our customers.
Excellent. So now that we know, I guess, a bit more about each other, we'll dive straight into the questions. So today's session is all about reports. So the first question that we've got is, why actually was the SmartReports module created?
I might take that one if that's all right, Donald.
Go for it.
So databases in general have a function that is just it has to be there, and that's the ability to analyze the data that's within the database. If we didn't have the ability to look at trends, we didn't have the ability to look at if our stock was out or if that stock was overdue, having a database really is going to be redundant because we have no way to find out what's going on with the information that database is being stored. So with all of our applications dating right back to Ocelot and Films in the early 90s, we've always had a reporting system. Our customer service team back then, they were the support team. They would take from our customers and they would build the reports on behalf of those customers. So as you're dealing in a library environment or as you're dealing in a school environment with digital resources, you'd come up against different requirements. And every library, every school, every digital media manager had different requirements. So what we found was our customer service team were constantly building these awesome reports for customers. Now, back in the day, that used to take about a week for our customer service team to do that. And then as we did an upgrade, we had to then go back and update those customer reports for every individual customer. So what we did with version 3 was we created the SmartReports system. And what it allows you to do is you can certainly come and ask us for assistance on how to develop it, but it gives you the ability to report on basically every single field that's in the database. And you can look at inventory lists, so you can just have a quick snapshot in a table of all the records in the database and their information. You can have a look at what's on loan. You can have a look at trends like how many days are books overdue on an average. And we can even go into the statistical reports. So who's the top borrowers, who's the or which are the top programs that are being watched. And it gives you the ability to basically report on and analyze all the data that's sitting in your Smart Suite library or Smart Suite TV for Education application. So that's the reason why we created SmartReports, just to give you as the end users, the ability to report on what you need to report on the fly at just a click of a button.
Excellent. So just before we get into the second question, I do want to remind everyone that the chat is open. So if you've got any questions related to reports or FSI in general, just pop them in there and we'll get to those at the end. So this...
If you see a familiar face with Donald, just reach out and say g'day.
Absolutely. So the second question that we've got is, can you explain some of the terminology for smart reports and sort of how that works, I suppose?
You want me to take that one?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, easy. So we do get a few questions every now and then about the terminology within smart reports. I'll just share my screen so you guys can see what I mean. So if we go to smart reports. Let's just go with a catalog report, catalog copies by barcode.
Hi, Dorte, welcome.
Hi, Dorte. Now, this is a very big, I guess, frequently asked questioned area. What do the items in this drop-down really mean? Now, they vary from field to field. So as you can see, I'm on copy barcode, and these are the options that I have to select from. Now, it's defaulted for this report to include list, and simply include list means I want anything that I paste into my criteria box here, copy barcode, to appear in the report. All right. If we go through, exclude means anything that I scan into this criteria box I don't want in my report. Okay, and we can go down contain. If you're looking for, you've got a book and it's got half a barcode because someone's damaged it and you can't scan the barcode, but you can see, okay, I've got the last 5 digits. I can click on contain, enter in what I've got, and then the system will bring up anything that contains those numbers for your barcode. Okay, so you got blank and not blank. That pretty much makes sense.
Sorry,
but as we go over here,
I think your screen share isn't showing us the actual drop-down box. So it's just showing once you've selected what it is.
I'll just go through and select them so you guys can see that. But there is a drop-down when you click on the little drop-down arrow. I'm not sure why it's not appearing, but
Good old screen share.
yeah, when you go through, you'll see them pop up here. Okay, and if I was to jump to, let's just say, our copy call number field. Okay, you can see when I click on them, we now have starts with, as well as not equal, not contain, and blank, not blank. So as you go through, they'll pretty much be self-explanatory with these certain fields, but if you don't understand what it means, definitely just shoot us a ticket, give us a call. We'll definitely walk you through each and every field if you need.
And I think one of the biggest the fields that are used the most are going to be either your equals or your containers.
Definitely.
Okay, so the difference between those two is that the equal is exactly what is in the input box. So whether we've chosen call number, copy, barcode, title, it means that if the system is looking for a barcode of 21613, it has to match exactly what has been put into that input box. If it's contained, it means that we can put 213, and 213 can be anywhere inside the barcode. So we do have some users that get those two confused. Contained means that it's that word or phrase or input can be found within that field anywhere in the string, whereas equal, it has to be no more, no less, and it's got to be identical to what I put in. And I think that's something that we do get a lot of queries on, if I'm not mistaken, Donald.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Excellent. So I guess now that we've got some of that cleared up, and especially in light of the SmartReports competition that we're running at the moment, how can users sort of quickly create their own custom reports?
Did you want to go through that one, Donald?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, just having a sip of my coffee. So the way I like, if someone asks me to create a report, these are the steps that I go through. So I'll just share my screen again. Forget how to do it.
Wonderful, we're on live conferencing.
So if I just go back to my home list, now it comes down to what information you're after. Okay, so you can definitely go ahead, create a new report. Okay, if we're going for a detailed report, and add all the information in that you want. Okay, so your report name, you'll place in here, your report group. Okay, whether it's a catalog report or circulation report, you'll select from this. I don't know if you can see the drop down, but if I go through,
No.
you've got catalog, loan history, examples like that. Okay, you then need to enter in your conditions, your ordering, the data you want to appear, and if you want a template, you'll need to create a template as well. Okay, but the way I like to do it is, if I want, say, a catalog report, I'll go through the reports created by FSI, and these are reports that the team here have created for you guys, and I'll get a similar report that I'm after. So let's say I want to report on location. Okay, so I'm just going to click on my location report, but I want to add an extra criteria of media as well. Okay, so I want everything in a specific media as well as a location. Okay, so I'll just select my location. I'm going to keep duplicate. Okay, and this creates a duplicate of that report. All I have to do is type in any other information I want in the report name. Okay, I'll then jump to my conditions. Okay, you can already see there's location equal location. Click on my little plus. Okay, you can't see the drop down, but I'll jump in here and find media. Okay, I can then go across and go, okay, let's check how it's ordered. It's ordered by title ascending. I'm happy with that. You can also then go, hold on, let's just add, you can't see the drop down again, but let me select one. I want to order it by location, and then I want to order it by my media type.
And just while you're doing that, Donald,
Yep.
One thing that I've noticed supporting a few of our customers is when they have gone through this process of duplicating, let's say that, can you just go back to the conditions, Donald? Let's say that this is the location by media report. What you're seeing on the screen now is actually the configurator for the saved report. So think about it from the point of view of what you're seeing here is going to be replicated every time you launch this report. So if you were to say location equals, and just say the first time you're going to run it, we're going to look at counseling. Okay. If you were to save this report, it's going to run, even if we did select something in media as well, every time we run it, it is actually going to load the presets. And that means that if we were just wanted this as a standard report that we can load in our filters or our criteria at any time, counseling and book are always going to be the defaults, and we're going to have to go in and cancel both of those and put in our new filters every time. So if we did want this report just to be an open blank report that we can see all the criteria, but it forces us to select it every time, we want to make sure that these two fields here are going to remain blank when we're looking at it from the configurator's point of view.
And that's a really good point, because we do get questions where people go, it keeps having this location of counseling every time I run the report, and I have to remove it and add the location I want to run. I'll show you just quickly how you would fix that. If I just place kindergarten here as an example, and we'll continue on editing our report. So I've set my ordering fields. This is the way I want it to be ordered. I then can add extra information or remove information I don't want in my report. So let's say I don't want my call number. I'll click a little bit on that and removes it from the list, but I do want to show sublocation. Okay, so click a little plus, an extra field will appear. If I hit the down arrow that's next to it, and again, I'm not sure if you can see that pop up. No, you can. Beautiful. We'll jump to our sublocation. Okay, and that's all I want to add to this report. Right. I then can check my template if I need to. You'll notice that it doesn't have my sublocation in here. So I'll quickly add that by clicking the plus. Okay, and then just going to sublocation and just double checking that these are all correct. Okay, and I've removed call number, so call number won't be there, so we can add media in there instead. Okay, when I hit save, report's been saved. If I go back home, right, you'll notice that there are two sections. You've got reports created by FSI, reports created by me. Okay, now if you ever create a new report by clicking the new button down in the action bar, your reports that you create will appear in the reports created by me section, as well as any of the reports that we've duplicated. Okay, so if I open up my catalog, okay, you'll see the report I just duplicated and named catalog by location and media. Okay, all I have to do is double click it to open it up, and you can see kindergarten stuck there. Right, now if I want to remove that, just hit the configure button again in the action bar at the bottom, remove kindergarten, hit your save button, and then we'll go and check that again. Okay. This allows you then to just add whatever information you want in here so that you can run up your report. Okay, so that's how I like to quickly create a report. Simply just find a report that's similar, duplicate it, and then away you go.
And I dare say that all the other team members that are with you alongside you, Donald, are also doing the same thing. I know myself, if I'm helping a customer configure overdue reports for email, I certainly go straight to our default overdue letter, and I duplicate that, and then I make the changes for the customer from there. So we're not actually creating anything from scratch. We've got our list, and we're just going back and duplicating a similar one and making 2 or 3 adjustments to it. It makes it so much easier.
Correct, yeah.
Awesome. So I guess now that everyone knows how to do custom reports, or hopefully we've clarified a few things, it'll be easier than ever to enter our Smart Reports competition. If you do have any more questions, our contact details are in the description below, so just let us know. We do have a couple of extra questions before we finish up the session. So the first one is, how come I can't export a report PDF on some reports?
You want to take that one, or you'd like me to?
Your screen is already at the right spot, so it might be a good idea if you do it.
Beautiful. I've just got to reshare it. Alrighty, so it's a great question. We do get that question quite a bit, and it's for someone who doesn't understand Smart Reports yet, it's a bit confusing. So I'll go through it. Now, templates are what actually print via the PDF option. Okay, so if a report doesn't have a template, you won't have the option to export to PDF. Now, simple way to check that. Let's see if I can find one that doesn't have a template. Let's test this one. Okay, if I go to configure, again at the bottom, and I hit template, this one has a template. So when I run it, it will allow me to export to PDF. But if let's just delete this template, okay, and your template page looks like this, all right, and when you run the report, let's just save that and I'll run it so you guys can see what I mean. Get a little lost. So generate.
Probably chose the biggest report.
Yeah, probably. It's a good thing I can show you as well. The report will really only ever generate 1,000 items. Okay, that you can view via the UI. If you want any more than that, it'll tell you here. If you want any more than 1,000, you'll need to export it. Okay. Now you'll notice it defaults to the results tab here. Right. If I click on template, there's nothing there. If I go to export, okay, it tells me that I can't because I need to create a template. Okay, so that's the reason why you can't export a PDF on some reports. You just need to double check that there is a template created. Okay.
And the rationale behind that, I might just add to that, Donald. Just go back to your results. So with Smart Reports V3, we know that a lot of customers are starting to get a bit more in tune with the analytics of the database and wanting to be able to see more information more easily. So when they initially create their report, they've got the ability to basically slap onto the page 150 different fields of information. And it's easy for us to display that on a computer screen because we've got things like scrolling and zooming and all that sort of really cool stuff. And this is probably something a little bit funny that we're so used to doing pinching and zooming. The other day, Donald showed me a a brochure for something, paper brochure, and I went to zoom in on the paper brochure. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how in tune we are with that sort of user experience. Now, the issue that you've got with having the ability to display 150 fields at any one time is that when you go to print it out, how does the system translate 150 fields to a piece of paper, and also do it in such a way that you don't have to get a really large desk and lay all your pieces of paper 3 or 4 sheets across, or having a situation where the font is so small that you can't even read it when you print it off anyways. So the difference between results and template is results allows you to see the information on a computer and allows you to also export that to CSV if you're someone that likes to do a little bit of formulas and analytics through Excel tools. You've got the ability to do that. Whereas template, if you just go to the configurator, Donald, okay, when you're configuring your template, the dotted line that you've got there is actually the page size of an A4 piece of paper. So if you were to chuck your results onto the page there, okay, if we go and start adding all those different fields that we've got in our report, the system's going to say to you, okay, well, if you have this field this big, it means that you're going to be within inside the A4 width. But if you start making the fields a little bit longer, or you have too many fields on the screen, then it's going to spill over and it's going to cut off half the information. So that's the reason why some reports require templates, because if you're wanting to print them, the template is what controls how big the fields are. If there's 2 rows of information to fit it all in, if it's just a letter format, etc., etc.
You do also have the option to go landscape. Okay, that's this little button here, which does expand the area that you can use on a A4 piece of paper. So you can then add a little bit more information and then expand your results.
You learn something new every day. I didn't know that we could do that.
Oh. So the little phone is, we've tried to go off, you're working on a computer, you have the little mobile, which is your
portrait,
yes, and then your little laptop, which is your landscape.
Yeah.
Excellent. We just had a quick question from Daughter just saying, can you change to show it in landscape mode?
There you go.
The remote.
There's a little button.
Yeah. Perfect.
And just another one from our good friend Dorte. When we're duplicating reports, the original will always be maintained. So even if you go back to a report that's within reports created by me, so not even one of the system FSI reports, if I have a report that I've done like catalog by location and media, and I want to do another one that is exactly the same, but it's going to do sub-location instead of location. If I duplicate that, the original always stays there and just creates another one for me.
Excellent. So I guess kind of piggybacking off this, with our last question for the session, it's just when I run a report, what is the difference between the results and the template option tabs?
Perfect. While I'm here, I'll just jump back in and show you guys. So let's run a report. We want primary library media book.
Now,
right, you'll see this looks a bit different to the last report we just ran. It's telling me that it's generating a page. Okay, and it's doing that because it's found in my report that there is a template. Okay, and obviously if it's printing out on some piece of paper, there's going to be some pages to print depending on how big your report is. Now, by default, it jumps to the template tab because there is a template to use, but I can jump over to my results, okay, which then spits it out like this, as we were talking about with Quentin before. You have the option to view it on your screen and not print it using the results tab, okay, and then your template option, which allows you then to export it to PDF and print out. So it looks a little bit nicer and cleaner on your piece of paper.
And it also looks really good down the bottom if you were to email that to some team members in your library or executive team members for your school. It's going to be formatted nicely for a HTML email as well.
Yep.
Perfect. So that concludes our session for the day. We hope that you found it useful and that you know a little bit more about Smart Reports than when you started. If you do have any questions still, just put in a ticket or the contact details are in the description, so just let us know and we'll be happy to answer those. And if you've got any questions about the Smart Reports competition as well, same thing, contact details are in the description, so just let us know and we'll be happy to answer those for you. So thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope you had a good time and we'll see you next time.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.